Guys, I just got word that Elon Musk has called Mary Barra and he said, "Thanks, Mary, you did it." Will the SEC investigate General Motors? I think it's fair to say it's very unlikely to happen, but technically they should. General Motors are abandoning their plan, surprise, surprise, to build 400,000 electric cars this year in North America. Analysts said they would basically swamp Tesla in 2025. Well, General Motors themselves, on about 50 occasions on public television, said that they would be beating Tesla in 2025. Certainly, if not 2026 at the absolute latest. But I'm going to guess those plans have been scrapped as well, my friends. Here's what we know. Hello and welcome to the channel. Great to see you. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching The Electric Viking. Welcome to the new subscribers. Great to have you. Welcome back, everyone else. Mary Barra has disclosed what we all already knew. Surely everyone knew it, other than the most die-hard General Motors fans. GM are no longer planning on building 400,000 electric cars. Yeah. General Motors, though, they phrased it a little bit differently. They used some interesting language to explain this, well, this failure to do what they said that they would do. Mary Barra, in fact, made these comments on Oprah, CNBC, all the major news networks, that General Motors were going to do this. She said GM would beat Tesla. Does anyone really still believe that's going to happen? Sure, Elon's a bit unhinged sometimes, but even then, come on, let's be realistic. General Motors say that they are reworking their electric car strategy in North America, and they're pulling back from efforts to challenge Tesla's lead in the US electric vehicle segment amid slowing EV sales growth, rising labor costs. The labor costs are going to be a big problem for General Motors, and a bleak economic outlook. Now, clearly GM now are giving up on this idea of beating Tesla anytime soon. Surely that's not going to happen within at least, I don't know, our lifetimes anyway. But just imagine if Tesla did somehow pull off this massive Houdini of having robots build their cars, as in, you know, the new Tesla bot. Imagine if that happened, right? And General Motors is having to pay its staff, what, $400,000 a year? I don't know what it is, but some insane figure. What would happen? How long would it be before General Motors actually did go bankrupt again? How long ago was it since they went bankrupt again, guys? What, 15 years ago? Anyway, keep in mind, General Motors did just get a massive multi-billion-dollar loan from the US government, which apparently it said it didn't need, but it got it anyway. Anyway, GM said today, during its Q3 2023 earnings call, that it is abandoning a goal to build 400,000 electric vehicles from 2022 through to mid-2024. So this is basically like, what, 2 years. 2 years. It can't build 200,000 cars per year. 400,000 cars in 2 years is too much for General Motors, apparently. Well, I guess we all thought this was going to happen, so it's not really a lot of surprise here, to be fair. I mean, if you invested in General Motors and believed that this was going to happen, well, I don't know, but that seems a bit crazy. CEO Mary Barra has reiterated, though, that the target would be achieved. In fact, she said the target would be achieved in July. I mean, July was only a few months ago. But that was before the UAW began consuming General Motors cash. GM estimates strikes have cost it nearly $1 billion so far. Costs will increase by $200 million for every single week the strikes continue. Seems to me General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis are incurring billions of dollars in costs as a result of the strikes. Still, Paul Jacobson said GM's real focus is getting to 1 million EVs of production by the end of 2025, alongside hitting our margin targets. Mary Barra said before the company's EV strategy going forward will be to match production to avoid deep discounts. So GM have also, of course, put on hold production of the Silverado electric pickup truck. But guys, what I'm really genuinely curious to know is this. Does anyone really believe General Motors will hit a run rate of 1 million EVs in 2025. That's what? Just a year and a half away. They're going to hit this 1 million run rate in 2025. Is this realistic? I mean, if you work for General Motors, if you're a General Motors expert, do you really think this is realistic? Now, keep in mind, there are some analysts on Wall Street that believe General Motors stock price will double between now and 2026. Double. Yeah. Anyway, General Motors said, moderating the acceleration of EV production in North America to protect our pricing, adjust to slower near-term growth in demand, and implement engineering efficiency and other improvements that will make our vehicles less expensive to produce and more profitable. Now, Mary Barra made those comments recently. She didn't reveal, though, what General Motors was going to do. Like, are they going to use gigacasting? Will they use structural battery packs? Will they use lithium iron phosphate batteries? I believe the answer to the question, those three things, is no, no, and no. No to LFP, no to gigacasting, no to megacasting, no to structural battery packs. So what exactly is General Motors doing to make its EVs profitable? I don't think anyone knows. GM haven't actually really told us. The bad news for GM's electrification efforts doesn't end here, says Inside EVs. The automaker said it is slowing the launch of several EV models to cut costs and is cutting back on EV product spending. Delayed models include the Chevrolet Equinox EV, the Chevrolet Silverado EV RST, and the GMC Sierra EV. Mary Barra said these EVs would be delayed each by only a few months without providing specifics. But GM have also said, previous to that, I think Mary could be a little confused here, that they would put on hold production of the Silverado EV until 2025. It was meant to be made this year. That's a pretty long delay. The reason for this is it simply costs General Motors too much to build the Silverado EV. It's not demand. GM says demand is a problem. It's not. GM have more than, in fact, they have well over 100,000 pre-orders for the Silverado. And I think it's a pretty good product. It's just too expensive to make. Barra said GM will save billions of dollars thanks to a decision to redesign and relaunch the Chevrolet Bolt EV using lower cost lithium ion batteries. So that's good news. The Bolt and the Bolt EV will be redesigned and basically remade using LFP batteries, but we don't know when that will be. We don't know when the new version will come out. General Motors haven't revealed that yet, but I think that's really good news. Mary Barra added that GM also ditched an earlier plan to spend $5 billion on several new entry-level EVs. So GM was going to spend $5 billion on making entry-level EVs. Not happening anymore. Jacobson said that GM's decision to delay retooling of the large factory in Orion Township, Michigan, to build electric pickup trucks will save the company $1.5 billion in capital investments in 2024, but delaying retooling a factory. They didn't say how that will actually save them $1.5 billion, so I'm not really sure exactly how General Motors plans on saving all that money. I mean, at some point it has to retool that factory, whether or not it happens next year or the year after. Jacobson, though, added, he said, delaying the electric truck expansion will allow GM to incorporate some of the changes and improvements that we've seen in early stage production and improve profit margins when the all-electric Chevrolet Silverado EV and the GMC Sierra EV enter production. From a financial standpoint, Mary Barra said in the shareholder letter that GM has work to do to ensure it achieves low to mid-single-digit EBIT EV margin targets in 2025, given the industry's changing pricing and demand outlook and higher labor costs. Now, realistically, guys, the input costs are actually lower. The price of lithium has come down by nearly 50% over the past 6 months. Massively, the prices are lower. In fact, the price of everything, all the raw materials going into batteries, has come down. That should have helped General Motors, but it doesn't appear to have really made a lot of difference from what I've been hearing on General Motors' profitability on EVs. So the reality is here, General Motors has a long way to go to produce a profitable EV. Saying that they're going to make profitable EVs in 2025 without actually having a pathway to do so, in my opinion, is confusing to investors. It's confusing to me. If you guys are able to figure this out, let us know in the comments, because I'm really not sure how GM is actually going to do this. The CEO, though, said the GM needs to grow its revenue and sustain strong 8 to 10% EBIT margins in North America. So in other words, GM is just going for internal combustion. That's where it makes its profits. It's pausing EV production because that's where it's losing money. And therefore, I'm concerned for them. I mean, they're making and selling at a profit old products. They need to change to new ones, and they're struggling to do so. Whereas you got companies like even Mercedes and BMW that are going to be probably selling more EVs in America in the next 12 months than General Motors does. If you look at their growth rates, it's actually highly likely that will happen next year. It's crazy. GM withdrew its 2023 financial guidance, and it reported a 7.3% decline in third quarter net income to $3.1 billion. Adjusted earnings before interest and taxes fell by 17% in the third quarter to $3.6 billion, including a $200 million reduction due to the strike that began on the 15th of September. CFO Paul Jacobson said production loss so far in Q4 amounts to $600 million. So General Motors' third quarter results were actually pretty good, but the strike didn't really start to affect them significantly until the very end of the quarter. So I think we'll find the results of the strike will really affect the fourth quarter of 2023 for General Motors. That's when we'll see the true damage of this, but we won't really see the true damage of what's really going on for General Motors until probably 2026, 2027, when, well, Tesla has an affordable Model 2 available. They have a Cybertruck they're going to be producing en masse, clearly before General Motors are producing the Silverado EV en masse. So really, GM are just helping Tesla here. I mean, Elon's probably on the phone right now to Mary saying, hey, thanks, Mary. You did it. Thanks, Mary. You did it.